Hello, my name is Tshidi Madia, Associate Editor for Politics at Eyewitness News. So I think we last had this conversation, this catch-up, this politics update around the Nasrec period when the ANC was going to an elective conference. So Nasrec obviously has come and gone. We had a State of the Nation address by the President. That too has come and gone. What came from that State of the Nation address, or even Nasrec, was an expectation that the President will reshuffle cabinet. The country has been waiting and waiting and waiting for something to give. Nothing has given as yet. All indication is that before the end of this week, we'll finally have a cabinet reshuffle. And that's why I need to put in a quick caveat, because South Africans, we love hope. We seem to think that this cabinet reshuffle will mean an ultimate change, a super ministry, or super cabinet rather, that would mean the challenges that we face as a country will finally be dealt with the seriousness that I think we are yearning for. We must stop it. It doesn't help us. And we've seen time immemorial with this president that we hope against hope for a lot and get very little out of the president. So I think you do need to be careful. So I'll give you that quick warning, right? But I do think that we are in line for a cabinet reshuffle. If you look around, the steps are finally in place. You can see him putting the cog into the wheel, right? So you've heard that he's met with alliance partners. So the SACP and COSATU, they've said they want what they want, including a Blinken Zimande to remain as part of cabinet. Then you also hear that he's met with seniors in the ANC. Then an interesting development that happened is suddenly Enoch Gondongwana being sworn in as a member of parliament. You might think, yeah, but Enoch is already a minister. Sure, absolutely. But what you need to recognize is Enoch Gondongwana, like Ibrahim Patel, were the two ministers that he had in the cabinet who were not in peace, right? So he's always had room to have two who are not members of parliament. So he now moves Enoch into parliament because he needs to create room for a minister who's not in parliament. That's where the speculation then comes into play. Is it Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, who's currently head of infrastructure in the president's office? So is it him, infrastructure and investment? Or is it David Makhura? Interestingly enough, Makhura has been made a full-time appointment at Luthuli House, but nothing is set in stone in politics. So you are hearing names. With these names that you're hearing is that's where Minister of Electricity will come from, because at the SONA, again, with that expectation with the president, he said that he'll appoint a Minister of Electricity. One would imagine when you recognize that we have an energy crisis in the country, you announce it, and tomorrow we have a Minister of Electricity. That's not how it's unfolded. And every other week, what we've noticed is there's a reason why he can't reshuffle cabinet this week or this week. For instance, we expected something on Sunday, and then, oh no, he can't, because, if he does that, then it'll overshadow Museveni's visit, the Ugandan president who's in the country. Before the State of the Nation, he couldn't, because, oh my God, it'll be the story that overshadows his State of the Nation address. So there's always a reason, as he consults, there's a reason why we're not getting there. I firmly believe we're going to have that cabinet reshuffle before the end of the week. But again, leave some room for disappointment, because I don't necessarily believe that when he reshuffles the cabinet, you'll have a super cabinet. So the vision that he apparently had in 2017 of a trimmer, leaner, meaner cabinet, I don't see how that's going to come into play, because so many people have so much vested interest in the end game. So many people are seeing blue lights in the ANC, from what I understand. And some of the people in cabinet have said to me, hey, it's tough. People will sabotage you at any given moment because they want to see themselves serving and being accompanied by blue lights everywhere they go. It is unfortunate, because at the heart of it, we are not the interest. We are not the important story to politicians, but it shouldn't surprise you, because that's how politics works. But in terms of who's going to stay and who's going to come in, I've had very interesting things, but I've got views obviously about the likes of Natim Teetoa and Maite Nkwana Mashabane, because what the hell does she do for women? She's occupying that ministry in the president's office, and you only see her around August, and maybe when they do days of activism against women abuse. So there are people that I think have not served the country. Nothing to just ask any artist, really. Ask any artist, and they'll tell you what they think of him. But you've got that problem with particular leaders who really been danced, there's another way to say it, who don't belong there. So you also hear about the likes of Mondli Gungubere, part of the so-called Chris Hani cabal, the powerful men around the president. And what you're hearing about Mondli is Mondli might actually no longer be in the presidency when the dust settles. People speak about how he handled the renewal campaign in the lead up to Nasrec. People speak about how he talks a good game, but he's in charge of three key components of government. There is the presidency, the GCIS, and of course the state agency, the state security agency. And people say to you, you can't necessarily see the progress across the GCIS, the presidency itself, as well as state security agency. That's why maybe Mondi doesn't belong there. Of course, enters Marupini Ramokgopa, who's been tipped to possibly end up in the presidency. But with her, people have said, but she's too junior. She might have a great CV, and she really actually does. But she might not be the person who has to whip all the other ministers into shape. Only time will tell. And of course, Paul Mashatile is somewhere there in the wings. His people said his suit is ready, his shoes are shined, but he's not necessarily the person that people want to see ascending to the second highest seat in the land. And that's because of Palapala. Palapala, it might be quieter now, but don't forget that there is a Palapala saga with multiple investigations that are yet to be concluded. So we kind of need to wait and see. Political considerations, unfortunately, no matter what we say about what we're worrying about, the grey listing, the economy, crime, services, those things matter to us. But politicians will politics. That's it for me.